What are your favorite videos to research and watch? Is it the conspiracy angles or is it the creepy stuff? I'm sure there's a good bit of fusion there.
Oh yeah, there is. It depends on like what the video is specifically. Like for example, some of the stuff with like my main conspiracy theory mainline series, some of it can get a little bogged down because a lot of it is similar, and sometimes your evidence is a 4chan post from 2014 that had like
Yeah,
2
that's how I
likes, and
make a
you're
lot
like,
of beliefs.
yeah. I hear a lot of religions are starting that way.
Yeah.
But stuff like that is like very hit or miss if I like it or not. Now, like the video that I'm editing right now that should be up in the next couple days is about the MLK assassination. And that kind of stuff is like my stuff, like reading like the logs and court reports, love that kind of thing. I also love reviewing like online horror series like ARG stuff. Just because I think it's really cool to put together this giant puzzle and see how everything fits. But yeah, like I always say in my videos that I only talk about stuff I like talking about, and
Yeah.
that's been true so far. I'm very happy that I can make stuff I'm happy about and have this kind of success with it.
What's
beautiful?
So what's the deal with
Thank you.
MLK? Was it the CIA? When something fucked up happens, I always assume CIA.
Oh, brother, it was 1,010% the CIA. Like, not even a question. So much so that the King family also believes it was, and they spent the last 3 years of James Earl Ray, the alleged shooter. They spent the last 3 years of his life trying to get him out of jail because the family thought he was innocent.
Wow.
In 1999, in Shelby County, Tennessee, the King family sued the United States government, specifically through an agent. And the specific one that did the suing was Martin Luther King's wife. They sued the government for conspiracy to commit wrongful death and won. So in a civil court, they officially decided the government did kill MLK.
I never even knew that, man.
Yeah, that is wild. and like that's not even news. Like
no,
wow, yeah, I had no idea. That's not common knowledge as far as I know.
People are like, but if you told someone like, did you know that MLK was killed by the CIA? Like, I feel like a lot of people
would be like, oh, he's one of those guys.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, put up the tinfoil hat or whatever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, it was like the King family who did the research and got it and all that, which is like, I don't think I have to tell you guys that some information is chosen to be fed while others is not.
Of course.
And stuff that has to do with like a distrust of the state tends to be on the don't show as much.
Who was the guy who went to prison for shooting MLK? Was that like Mark David?
James Earl Ray.
James Earl Ray. They always have 3 fucking names.
Mark David Chapman was John Lennon.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. So the civil court thing decided that. Well, and in civil court, did they ever bring up that there's a guy sitting in prison for this murder and blah blah blah?
Well, so he died in 1998, and the civil court was in 1999. So it was more so exonerating a dead man.
Was he retroactively exonerated?
So just in the nick of time.
By civil court, yes. In official court, no, because double jeopardy and all that stuff. He was already accused of it. But like, man, I tell you, like, I went into the MLK video like, oh, the FBI killed MLK. And then I did the research. It was like, oh my gosh, they destroyed that.
You're like, this is way too obvious. They didn't even try to cover it.
They didn't. Like, there was one witness who saw James Earl Ray there, and 74 who saw a different man there, and they went with the one guy.
They went with the one guy, Agent. Steven
Brown.
So that one guy who saw him was actually in a drunk stupor at the time, and then during an interview with ABC, the journalist held up a picture of James Earl Ray, and the guy goes, "Who's that?"
Oh my god!
And the reporter goes, "That's James Earl Ray," and he goes, "Oh, yeah. Well, that's not really the guy who I saw, but maybe from the back, it's
the only way to like bail yourself out of that is like, oh man, he's gained a lot of weight.
Clearly, the stress of being a murderer
is weighing on him. His hair fell out and everything.
I'm like that's my bias is like, if I hear something that's like, something fucked up the FBI or the CIA did, I'm like, you don't even have to explain it. I believe you.
Yeah.
I used to not be like that.
But if
Once
like
upon a time.
yeah, if they came out and they were like CIA stops hunger in Nigeria, like poor village, I'd be like, no, 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 no.
What's that village got to hide, huh?
Yeah,
Who's in that village?
Village got
Maybe
some
Nigeria's
leverage.
not even real. I've never been.
You know, it's one of the wildest things about the MLK assassination that didn't have to do with the conspiracy.
Mm.
So Jesse Jackson was with him the day of the assassination. As a matter of fact, King was hanging over a balcony talking to Jackson in the parking lot below whenever he was shot.
Yep.
Immediately, Jesse Jackson ran to the news, and he was wearing a sweater covered in blood and said that he was holding MLK as he was dying. And that's what the blood on the sweater is. Every single person who was there that day said what actually happened is MLK got shot and Jesse Jackson ran off, and the rest of them stayed there with him. And Jesse Jackson went somewhere, put fake blood on himself, and then went to the news so he could get the attention for it.
He like tried to pull his own like
What?
Juicy Smollett thing.
Well,
Yeah, basically.
yeah, pretty much. In research for it, MLK had a lot of problems with Jackson because every time they would go to a rally or protest, he would like aggravate it or like get it as a problem. There was one instance, I think it was some city up north, where King was giving a speech and he was talking about nonviolence, and the police show up, and Jackson's immediately like, "All right, guys, it's time to fight, make a wall," and like make this whole violent protest.
Yeah, like rabble rousing.
Yeah, pretty much.
Right,
And he
yeah.
was like, there's a bunch of accusations he was trying to take the spotlight. And it was specifically King's brother who was furious at him for going to the news in a fake bloody sweater.
I can
Being like,
imagine.
"Oh man, he died in my arms." Yeah.
Trying
Dude,
to
if
take
he
credit.
really
That is like
went to-
a tremendously narcissistic thing to do. Like MLK dies, and it's like, but how am I gonna get positive attention?
How do I
He wants to
profit
be
from
remembered
this
in history.
scenario?
You want to
Well,
be
the
remembered in
other thing
history
to remember
books.
is what about me?
I would hit him up all the time. I'd be like, "Yo, that was super weird." The next year, I'd be like, "Yo, you remember last year when my brother died and you did that whole thing? Super weird. I never want you to forget how fucking weird that was.
Jesse
We
Jackson.
all think you're weird. All the people I talk to, all my homies think you're weird." And
Yo,
that's
that was
I
weird.
just got to know. Where did you get the blood?
And why does
Yeah,
MLK,
where
why
would
did
he get
MLK
fake
have, why
blood?
did MLK have acrylic-based blood?
You
60s,
came up
wasn't it?
with a liter of fake blood in like 8 minutes in Alabama on a Thursday afternoon. I've got to know more.
You just like
I've got to
grab
know.
the bird, popped its head off like a bottle of
I
ketchup.
have children,
Just murdered
goddammit. I can't allow you around them until I know where you got the blood.
Where did you get the blood? You can't come around my
You have
kids.
to know.
Fine, I got it
Damn
from
it,
Sherwin
Jesse.
Williams. Get off my ass.
Oh. Well, let's
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, you can come around the kids again.
Fine. No, I don't know anything about that conspiracy, about the MLK thing, but I do know that they were surveilling him and recording him and stuff, and they had that like salacious audio of him having sex with his wife, and they were trying to use that against him. He's like, I don't care. Yeah,
He's like, I'm married, bro.
yeah,
They wrote him a letter to try to get him to kill himself.
yeah.
Where the FBI posed as like a member, like I think it was a black teen who was like a fan of him, and was like, "Man, you should probably kill yourself before this goes public." It's like,
Where
okay.
the
Jesus
first
Christ.
troll comment existed.
Yeah.
On
Yeah, the
paper.
first one in all history. Probably not, but yeah.
The first YouTube
And
You
it
know,
was-
it's wild.
comment.
Whenever I was going through research for it, the like first detail I got to that made me be like, "There's no way," and then sure enough, it was real. The gun, it was a Remington 760 in 30-06. The gun that had Ray's fingerprints on it was never matched ballistically to the bullet that killed King. They tried it over and
The
over.
fuck, man?
And, yeah, and the best that they could determine is that it was the same model, probably because the rifling patterns within the barrel were similar. They're like, "Yeah, we can't exactly determine this is the same rifle that did it, but it's probably close enough."
Are you scared
Close
at night?
enough.
Are you scared at night
Kyle,
that you're
you're
on a
muted.
list or something?
No, there he is. No,
You're not worried that you're on a list.
I'm on a list.
Oh, I know. I
wait.
know for a fact I'm on a list.
Kyle's
But I
probably on a
don't.
list.
Like, Kyle's on several lists.
They made me sign
I
up
think-
for the list. They were like, "All right, this is for the list," and they like scanned my like face and took my DNA. Like yeah, I'm on a list.
I think
We're all on
Kyle and I
lists.
Not that
Well,
one, but I
everybody's
think we
on it
share
here.
a few lists.
Dairy farmers are really very powerful, and like muscle milk here is muscle MLK. R.I.P. It doesn't have an I in it. It literally doesn't have an I in it.
Yeah, it wraps around.
It says muscle
around.
milk.
I have a dream that we're all gonna get so fucking jacked we can fight for equality.
Muscle milk.
Right
I
there,
have a
look it up.
dream that I can hit my macros in a convenient way at gas stations and convenience
They can't-
stores.
Muscle MLK.
They can't call it. They can't call it milk here, so it literally says muscle milk, but there's
I
no
wanna
I in the
see-
milk.
I want to see a muscle MLK like Photoshop so goddamn bad. I want to see him ripped. I want to see him like on Ronnie Coleman's body. That's what I want. I want MLK on Ronnie Coleman's body.
Make it
Dude,
happen.
I'm sure that
Yeah,
I'm
muscle
sure it's out there. It
MLK.
has to
I
be.
like that.
Absolutely, it's out there.
That
You're gonna,
bullet
find,
wouldn't
you're gonna get MLK on that black guy's body. You know which one I'm talking about, sitting on the side of the bed. That
Oh.
exists. That exists
OG.
out there.
OG.
100%.
OG, OG
Isn't that-
Mudbone. Yeah,
Isn't that guy dead?
Yes.
I don't know.
is he?
Not
I
with
remember like
Photoshop,
hearing
he's
something
not.
about him. I remember hearing
remem-
something about him how like he needed the money and he had to like pose for those photos to like help
I
someone
read
in his
that too.
life.
Yeah.
Like somebody was like maybe health issues or whatever. Like someone needed money, and so he posed for those photos, and he regrets it.
Regretted it apparently.
Oh, well,
Now
that's
it gets
sad.
Photoshop.
Thanks, Kyle. Now it's complicated.
Yeah.
I
Now
can't
we're
just
human
flash up the fucking
traffickers when you
picture.
Deal with that.
meme it with your
Now it's
Deal with that.
complicated, he says.
Thanks.
Yeah,
I
now
just like they're like she's dying. We need you. We need your gigantic cock right now.
We need you,
If there was
Mudbone.
ever a time that the world needs your humongous hanging dick, it's right now.
It's now.
just
found
sit there and look regal because we're gonna put MLK's face on you.
Gotta keep it respectable.
He lives on though. He lives on.